Okay, so get ready for this one, folks. We're gonna dive into the carnivore diet today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know the one where you basically just eat meat like a lion all the time.
Right.
No veggies, no fruits, no grains, just meat, meat, meat.
Straight protein, yeah.
You sent over some research on this, and honestly, I'm kind of curious,
Yeah.
but I'm also a little terrified.
Oh, I understand.
Like, what do you think?
I
Is this like some key to unlocking crazy good health, or is it gonna make us crash,
yeah.
like nutritionally?
It's definitely pretty extreme as
Yeah.
far as diets go.
Right.
The whole idea is that, you're mimicking our ancestors in a way
Yeah.
by taking it back to just meat, and the proponents argue this is like the best way to
Okay.
get some benefits.
Interesting. Okay, but I'm still a little confused. So, like, if I was going full carnivore, like, what could I even beat? Is it just like steak for every meal, or is there like a little variety?
Yeah, I mean, you can have steak, but there's more to it. You
Yeah.
can have beef, you can have chicken, pork, you can have fish.
Right.
Organ meats are a big one too.
Organ meats, really?
Especially liver. People say it's like the multivitamin of the meat world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liver. You're already pushing me a little bit here, but I am curious about the why. Like, what is the logic behind saying goodbye to plants? It just seems like you'd be missing out on so many nutrients.
Well, the idea is that the nutrients in meat are more bioavailable.
Bioavailable.
So meaning your body can absorb them like more efficiently.
Oh, okay.
Like, you complain about being tired all the time.
Yeah.
You could be eating a ton of spinach.
Yeah.
But your body might not be absorbing all that iron.
Oh, interesting.
But when you get it from meat,
Yeah.
it's ready to go, so your energy levels you could actually see a difference.
So you're saying, like, ditching plants could actually mean I'm getting more nutrients? Even though it doesn't seem like it.
That's the idea.
I'm skeptical, but I'm listening. Keep going.
Okay, and there's the whole ketosis thing too.
Yeah, ketosis.
So by cutting out carbs completely, your body goes from burning glucose for energy to burning fat.
Right.
It's like switching your body's engine from regular fuel to like high octane.
Ah, okay. Ketosis. So that's the same thing that happens on the keto diet, right? So
Yeah.
is this basically like keto on steroids?
You could say that, yeah. But with the carnivore diet, you're taking it a step further.
Okay.
You're getting rid of even those low-carb veggies and fruits that you can have on keto.
Wow. Okay.
It's all about maximizing that protein and fat and minimizing everything else.
Okay. Now I'm starting to see why people are kind of raising their eyebrows at this diet.
Yeah,
It's definitely not for the faint of heart
right.
or for a weak stomach, I'm guessing.
Probably not.
But let's say hypothetically, I was brave enough to try this, right?
Right.
Are there like different levels of carnivore-ness?
There are actually, there are 3 main variations of this diet,
Okay.
each with its own level of strictness. Okay. The most extreme one is called the lion diet,
Lion diet.
and it only allows ruminant meat.
Okay.
So that's like your beef, lamb, bison,
Right.
the animals that only eat grass.
Got it.
And that's as basic as it gets. It's
Right.
meat, water, salt. That's it.
Well, hardcore.
Yeah.
What about the other ones? Is there one for like us normal people who aren't ready to like give up cheese?
Well, the classic carnivore diet lets you have a bit more leeway. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a little more approachable.
Got it.
You still have your meats, your fish, your eggs.
Yeah.
But you can also add in some dairy,
Dairy. Okay.
like hard cheese or
Right.
butter and stuff like that. Bone broth is a big thing in this one, too.
All right. That sounds a little more doable. What about the third one? What was it? Carnivore keto?
Right. That's like the gateway into the carnivore world.
Okay.
It's basically a meat-based ketogenic diet.
Got it.
So you can have like small amounts of low-carb dairy, eggs, spices.
Right.
And you can even have your coffee or tea in the morning.
Okay.
So it's still low-carb,
Yeah.
but not quite as intense.
Got it. Okay, so there's like a sliding scale of carnivore commitment, which is interesting. But let's get to the good stuff. What are the potential benefits here? Like, what kind of results are people actually seeing on this like all meat journey?
People report some crazy benefits like rapid weight loss,
Okay.
increased muscle growth, and like reduced inflammation.
Right.
Some people even say that it helps with their autoimmune symptoms
Really?
and their digestion gets better. There are even some who say they get clearer skin from it.
Wait, so you're saying I could have clearer skin from eating more steak? I need to hear more about this.
Well, the idea is that by cutting out all the processed foods, the sugars, and the potential inflammatory compounds found in plants, your body can sort of reset itself.
Oh.
And, you combine that with ketosis and high-quality protein. It's like
Yeah.
hitting the reset button on your whole system.
Okay, I have to admit, that does sound tempting.
Yeah.
Especially for someone like me who's always battling bloating and fatigue. Could this be like the answer to my gut problems?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Some people with digestive issues like IBS, bloating, even Crohn's disease say their symptoms get better
Wow.
when they do the carnivore diet. The idea is that you're removing those plant fibers, which can be tough to digest.
Yeah.
It gives your gut a break,
Right.
a chance to heal.
Okay, now we're talking. But before I go all in on the bacon and burgers, we need to address the big question.
Yeah.
What are the risks? It can't all be good, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm all for cutting out processed foods and sugar and all that.
Right.
But going completely plant-free,
Yeah.
it just seems, I don't know.
It's a big jump.
Yeah, it seems a bit extreme. Like, I'm worried about missing out on important nutrients. Like what about fiber?
Yeah.
Everyone always talks about how important fiber is, for digestion.
Right.
Just overall health.
That's a valid concern, yeah. I mean, the carnivore diet it's definitely low in fiber.
Yeah.
Since you're cutting out all the fruits, veggies, and grains.
Right.
People who support it argue that you don't need as much fiber if you're only eating meat.
Okay.
But there really isn't much research to support that.
So are you saying that, like, constipation could be a real issue?
It could be, yeah.
What about like vitamins and antioxidants?
Yeah.
Don't those mostly come from plants?
You're right. You'd be missing out on some key nutrients like vitamin C
Right.
and some antioxidants
Yeah.
if you ditch plants completely.
Yeah.
A lot of proponents suggest taking supplements
Oh.
to make up for that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a point of debate.
So basically, you could end up with some nutrient deficiencies if you're not careful.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay. What about other risks?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard some kind of scary stuff about cholesterol
Yeah.
and heart health.
Right. That's another big concern. I mean, think about it. You're eating fatty steaks, bacon, all that every day.
Yeah.
What's that going to do to your cholesterol? Some people see their LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol,
Right.
go up when they're on this diet. Now, there's debate on whether that's actually harmful in the long term, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on, especially if you already have any heart issues.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a little unnerving.
I understand.
What about the long-term effects on the gut?
Yeah.
I know you mentioned earlier that the carnivore diet could actually be good
Right.
for some digestive issues.
Yeah.
But could it also have a downside?
It's tough to say for sure. Like, the idea is that, when you cut out those plant fibers, you're giving your gut a chance to heal and reduce inflammation. But remember we were talking about the gut microbiome?
Yeah.
All those good bacteria,
Right.
They need fiber to thrive.
Oh.
So a diet with no fiber at all,
Yeah.
it could potentially mess that up in the long run.
So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It might help in the short term, but then cause problems later on.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like there are just a lot of unknowns when it comes to the long-term effects of this diet.
Absolutely, yeah. Most of the research on the carnivore diet is anecdotal
Right.
or just short term.
Yeah.
We don't really know what happens if
Right.
someone eats this way for years and years.
Right.
That's why it's really important to be careful.
Yeah.
And if you're considering trying it, you should work with a healthcare professional.
Right. Definitely. Speaking of research, you mentioned some studies that you found interesting.
Yes.
What did those look at? And do they actually support like what the carnivore diet people are saying?
Well, you have to remember that none of these studies looked at the really long-term effects of a really strict carnivore diet.
Right.
One of them looked at these carnivore-style supplements that were high in protein and fat and how they affected athletes.
Okay.
And they found some positive stuff, like it helped their muscles recover
Okay.
and reduced inflammation.
Yeah.
But it was a really short study.
So it might be good for athletes, like short term, but it doesn't really tell us much about long-term health, right?
Right.
Okay. What about the other ones?
Another one looked at largemouth bass.
Largemouth base.
Yeah, largemouth bass.
Right.
And how a meat-based diet impacted them.
Okay.
And they found that the fish that eat mostly meat had better inflammation control
Okay.
and muscle growth.
Interesting. So there might be some benefits for muscles,
Yeah.
but we can't really say that applies to humans, can we?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. Any other studies worth mentioning?
One looked at how protein from mushrooms could help prevent muscle loss in older adults.
Okay, so not exactly carnivore.
No, not really.
But it does show that protein is important for muscles.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then a final one, this one was on ducks.
Ducks.
Okay.
And they found that taking away plant-based compounds led to changes in the duck's gut bacteria and less inflammation.
Interesting. So some mixed results there.
Yeah.
It seems like there's some evidence that a meat-heavy diet could be good for inflammation and muscle health, but we definitely need more research, especially on the long-term impact on people.
Exactly. And we also need to be mindful of the limitations of these studies, right? They don't really give us the whole picture.
Yeah.
And we still have so much to learn about what happens when you cut out entire food groups.
So it sounds like we need to be really careful.
Yeah.
But let's say, hypothetically,
Okay.
someone was really set on trying this diet.
Yeah.
What would you recommend?
Well, first and foremost, they need to talk to their doctor.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
They can assess their individual needs and risks and help them keep track of how they're doing. Yeah, for sure. That's super important given all the potential downsides we talked about. What else?
I would say to start slowly.
Okay.
Maybe try incorporating some of the principles of the carnivore diet into your current eating pattern before going all in.
Like what? How would you do that?
Well, you could start by cutting out processed foods and added sugar for a little while and see how you feel.
Yeah.
Then maybe experiment with eating more protein and healthy fats and gradually cut back on carbs.
So like a gradual approach rather than just going cold turkey on the broccoli.
Exactly. And make sure you're, paying attention to your body. If you're feeling tired, constipated, or experiencing any negative side effects.
Right.
That's probably a sign that you need to, maybe adjust something.
Okay.
Or even reconsider the whole thing.
Yeah. That's really good advice. It's so important to listen to your body and make sure you're not hurting yourself.
Right.
More than helping. But let's be real.
Yeah.
This diet isn't exactly known for being like a culinary adventure.
No.
It's a lot of meat, and that could get pretty boring.
Yeah.
Any tips for making things a little more interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, so I get it, incorporating more, high quality meat, but like, what if going full carnivore just isn't for me?
Yeah.
Like, are there other ways to maybe get some of those potential benefits without being so extreme?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely incorporate some of the carnivore ideas into a more balanced approach.
Okay.
One option is the ketogenic diet, keto.
So, yeah.
It's still low carb, but it allows for a bit more variety.
Right. Keto's like the cooler, more flexible cousin of carnivore.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still emphasizing like healthy fats and protein, but you can have like veggies, nuts, seeds, even some berries. So it's a way to get those ketosis benefits without feeling so restricted.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're looking for a way to focus on whole unprocessed foods, Paleo might be a good fit for you.
Paleo.
It's based on the idea that we should eat like our hunter-gatherer ancestors did.
Right.
So, meat, fish, fruits, veggies, nuts and seeds.
Okay.
No processed stuff, no refined sugars, no grains.
So paleo is like a happy medium, right?
Okay.
Between carnivore and a more traditional diet. You get the good stuff from meat, but you also have the fruits and veggies that you're missing on carnivore.
Right, exactly. And the great thing about keto and paleo is that, you can adapt them to fit your own needs and preferences.
Right.
If you're worried about sustainability and animal welfare, you can focus on grass-fed meats, organic produce, locally sourced foods.
I like that. It's about finding that balance, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That works for you and what's important to you. But what if someone's not ready for a full diet change, but they still want to try out some of these carnivore ideas?
Yeah, that's a good point. They could try carb cycling.
Carb cycle.
Yeah. So you alternate between periods of higher carb intake and lower carb intake.
Okay.
It's almost like mimicking those feast and famine cycles.
Right.
That our ancestors might have experienced.
So some days you're eating your sweet potatoes and berries.
Right.
And other days you're having more of the meat and fat. It's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it is. And even if, even if you don't want to go that route, you can still prioritize those high quality animal products.
Right.
In your everyday meals.
Right.
Choose grass-fed meats, pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught fish.
Right. It's about focusing on the quality of the food, not just like cutting things out completely.
Exactly. And don't forget about organ meats.
Oh, the organ meats. Yeah. Yeah, they may not be the most glamorous foods, but they are packed with nutrients.
They are. Yeah. If you can handle them, organ meats they're like nature's multivitamin.
Yeah, and there are ways to sneak them into your diet.
Of course, yeah.
You don't have to just eat like a plate full of liver.
Exactly.
I'm thinking like blend it into smoothies or mix it in with ground meat.
Yeah. Great idea.
You just got to get a little creative, right?
Exactly.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Talking about the carnivore diet. We talked about what it is, the potential benefits, the risks,
right,
and even some other ways to approach it. But I have one more question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if this all meat thing is really the way humans are meant to eat, like some people are saying, why do so many cultures all over the world include plant-based foods?
That's a great question. Yeah.
And it kind of suggests that maybe there isn't one right way to eat.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe it's about finding a balance that works for each person.
Yeah.
And also being mindful of our planet.
Right.
And its resources.
Yeah.
We need to move past this idea that it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
And look at nutrition more holistically.
I love that. It's not about carnivore versus vegan or keto versus paleo. It's about what makes you feel your best, physically and mentally.
Right.
And thinking about how your choices are impacting the environment and animal welfare and all of that.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for our deep dive on the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
We hope this has given you a good overview of this kind of a controversial way of eating and helps you make informed decisions about your own diet.
Right. Remember, there's no one size fits all when it comes to nutrition.
Exactly.
It's a journey.
Yeah. And what works for one person may not work for another.
Exactly. Stay curious, keep learning, and most importantly, listen to your body.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us on this fascinating deep dive.
Thanks for having me.